Hello and welcome to Sorry You Went Viral. This is the podcast where we look at all the stories that have really set social media alight over the last week or so. My name's Hannah.
And I'm Tim. And let's start with Matt, or should we say Ken?
I'm just Ken, where I see love, she sees a friend. What will it take for her to see the man behind the tan and fight for me?
So this is divided social media and people generally offline as well this week, seeing this. 3 million views on TikTok alone for this video by Matt Hancock, the former health secretary, miming along, if you weren't aware of, I think it's a song from Barbie about Ken. People kind of either ridiculing it or can't stop watching it. It's one of the two.
Was it put up on his TikTok, as in like he uploaded it as his content onto his platform?
Yeah, so he loves doing little kind of memes and jumping on zeitgeists, and this was a good example. I think he's on holiday with his kids and just having a bit of fun mucking around and put it up, and he certainly gets him back in the headlines and name recognition.
I can sense the cynic in you coming out here. Yeah, it does get him back in the headlines. It does get a lot of clicks. I think, what did you say it was? 3 million views already on TikTok, and then obviously it went mad everywhere else as well afterwards. I mean, generally, I think people were pretty horrified or kind of found it a bit cringeworthy, but that's what he's sort of become known for. Aside from the very serious nature of the job that he used to do as health secretary through the COVID pandemic. And obviously he's been in the press a lot for very serious reasons at the COVID inquiry over the last couple of weeks. But aside from that, he's also been in the jungle, celebrity jungle stuff. And he's known as a bit of to sort of be the butt of the joke. And he seems to be kind of jumping on that now rather than, kind of shying away from the attention. He seems to be embracing the ridicule, I guess.
I think he's trying to, again, now he's announced he's not standing in the next election. He's thinking about a post-parliament career, and to be fair to him, he is capturing TikTok in a way that no other politician really has. To be honest, so interesting to see. I did see as well Denise Welsh, the Loose Women presenter. Chucks a little jibe his way, saying this is the perfect example of a man with zero self-awareness or humility, which would be one thing. But then what I loved was a woman on Twitter called Ellie Loves Dilfs. I won't explain that acronym if you don't know what it is. Quote tweeted Denise Welsh's comment was saying, "Hold on, your son is Matt Healy from the band, who's also..." Some would say his awareness and humility is somewhere questioned. So I just love that kind of one-upmanship on it. But I think if you take it for what it is, just a bit of light fun, it's fine. Obviously, some understandably take it more seriously. But I think someone is just trying to communicate in a different way. And I think it's really interesting to see how it's working for him.
Yeah, and arguably, he's not doing any harm in doing this. I say arguably because there will be some people who are looking at the more serious nature of his professional work. And as I said, his job as it was as health secretary, and they will take, I'm sure a lot of people will take great offence at him looking to be having any fun whatsoever whilst they're still wanting and trying to seek answers for loved ones that they've lost through COVID, etc. Perhaps it was just an innocent bit of fun on the beach that's happened to be seen by millions and millions and millions of people. But anyway, on to the next story we're going to talk about is many of you will know about the Canny Mason family, this incredibly talented family of musicians, young musicians. They have been well known for playing, I think it's the violin, piano or cello. I think they sing as well some of them. There's a family of brothers and sisters, all aged between sort of 12 and 25. One of the eldest brothers is perhaps the most prominent, and he actually played at Meghan and Harry's wedding, and he's played, been on a kind of a global stage quite a lot. And they are phenomenal, world class musicians. And the reason we're bringing up this story now is because the mother, who's called Dr. Kadiatu Kanemason, she tweeted saying a racist Twitter response to Isata Kanemason, this is her daughter, playing at BBC Proms, made one of my younger daughters, who saw it accidentally over my shoulder, sob uncontrollably. It's a never-ending battle to keep positive, determined and creative, but we will. And then she went on to say afterwards, after they were kind of flooded with loads of messages of support and outrage, of course, that a young person, I don't actually know how old Isata is, but anyway, she's either a teenager or certainly a young person. But anyone, quite frankly, to receive racist abuse is horrendous and completely unacceptable. But she's also doing something completely beautiful and creative and wonderful and performing for all of our delight as well. So in that context, so many people got piled in on Twitter and said how sorry they were that this sort of thing still exists. And I guess it just goes on to show that Twitter can be a force for bad, in that you get awful people having a platform to spout their abuse and racism, but then you also can have hopefully the majority of people who then pile in and say that is the minority and the majority of us are good and decent and this is a platform for good. And she said afterwards, this is the mum again, thank you so much to everyone who responded so kindly. What was deeply hurtful and dispiriting has been turned into joy and celebration. So they are, as I said, an incredible family, and everyone should go and check them out because, you'd hope to have an ounce of their talent in just one part of your body, but to have an entire family of brothers and sisters who are all phenomenal needs to be celebrated.
Yeah, incredibly talented and the most kindly spoken, polite people as well. Watching some of the videos yesterday, going back through the feeds. And as you said, the worst thing is the young daughter seeing the racist abuse as well, how affected she would be by it. What was quite sad is the mum was on BBC Radio Nottingham after the tweeting about it, and she says that apparently the family had been forced to deal with abuse ever since we came to public attention. But what's great to see and hear was that she said that wouldn't stop them from carrying on doing what they're doing, their amazing music, and also speaking out against these kind of racist or abusive posts on social media.
Yes, well, staying also then with the sort of the legal side of things, and this is a story which kind of surfaced from Lancashire Police over the last week or so, and it's kind of like a take on the sort of like how it started and how it's going thing. So Lancashire Police posted 2 images side by side, which I think we can probably bring up now, the tweet. This is their Twitter account. And you can see here Samuel Walmsley, who was one of 14 men jailed for nearly 50 years for his role in crime conspiracies in Great Harwood. Now, you can see here that obviously it's him kind of like showing off his spoils after a burglary or whatever it was on one side, and then him being locked up on the other side as well. So interesting to see how the police now are really engaging in social media to try and connect with the public, and the kind of response they've had, because it's been a bit mixed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I thought this was a really kind of smart way of using social media in a sensitive way to the victims, but also just showing the recklessness and stupidity of the gang, who were posting on Snapchat and Facebook, boasting of what they've done, showing off what they'd stolen, and just really silly stuff. There was a bit of backlash to it. There was some saying it condescends and insults the victims of crime. And to be fair to Lancashire Police, they've been very sensitive to this. And in fact, they've been asking for followers to feed back to them on their social media approach. But I think it's been a really clever way. It's got much more attention to the story as well. But again, interesting to see. I haven't seen on other platforms how they've done it, but I thought the thread was a really clever way of highlighting the story, and also just the stupidity of the gang.
Yeah, and obviously, like, the victims themselves wouldn't be identified by the police or anything. But I mean, I suppose I can see if it was you who was the direct victim of this particular gang, then it might be seen to be sort of making light entertainment out of what was presumably a very painful experience for you. So I can understand why some people think it's perhaps making light of police work or criminal activity. But as you say, if these gangs are operating and sort of like showing off using social media, then the police need to be able to like match them at their own game and say, like, you know, you come after us and we'll come after you. And this tweet got 17 million views on Twitter. I doubt whether Lancashire police I doubt whether they have that many people in there on their patch. So it just goes to show the reach that you can have.
Next up. I'm pretty sure, like me, I should say, you haven't heard of the teenage rapper Lil Tay.
And no, I mean, like, I'd like to pride myself on my rapper kind of knowledge, hip hop knowledge, but no, never actually heard of Lil Tay until this week, of course, when she hit the headlines for seemingly all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, we're not the only ones. I think most people in the UK hadn't heard of her. Basically what happened, she has an Instagram profile that hasn't been used for several years. And then during the week, a post was put up on there saying that her and her brother had tragically died. This was then picked up and reported across US showbiz and entertainment sites, and then somehow got over to the UK, and journalists just copied and pasted it without kind of doing any basic fact checking, and it appeared everywhere from Sky News to the Telegraph about this rapper who people didn't know about. And what again showed the level of curiosity, I suppose, amongst people in the UK. Her name was top of Google News searches. Over 200,000 searches for her name.
Wow.
On, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday night. Because people hadn't heard of her and didn't know why she was in the news. Thankfully, luckily, it was all a hoax. Apparently, her Instagram account had been compromised, as they say in showbiz and entertainment worlds, when it's been misused. And it's all been kind of blown over, but just very strange about the rush to cover stories without checking about random people we haven't heard of in the UK.
I think it plays into so many questions about security and privacy as well, though, doesn't it? Because you think that if this came from her, the initial message came from her own account. So, you know, I'm sure the people who were covering it just went, oh, this has obviously been posted by her management or something like that, or her family. And you can see the rush to, I mean, it's such a random thing, isn't it? You can see the rush to suddenly kind of report it, like this person who's actually very influential. I think she's a rapper, but she's fundamentally just a professional show off, isn't she? I mean, she's been doing this for the last kind of like 5 years. She's 14 years old, so she's been doing this since she was 9, and sort of showing off with how much money she's got and all the rest of it. And yeah, I can sort of sympathise with the journalist who rushed to kind of post it and publish the story of her untimely death. But yeah, it's a massive lesson for all of us who kind of like use social media and get our news through kind of like digital formats, that hacking happens, and that obviously, I mean, we don't know the details of how her account was compromised. Who knows? I mean, again, being super cynical, you can say this has given her massive publicity. Maybe she did it all herself. Yep. I mean, you know, I'm just speculating there, but yeah, it is a massive lesson, and you know, kind of like a red flag warning for all of us, I think.
Finally, on what went viral, I love this from Kylie Jenner, who's not known, I would say, for her self
deprecating.
Yeah, and this is brilliant. You may have seen this video this week from her TikTok account. It's her using this aging filter, which has been quite popular on TikTok particularly. And as you can, I'm about to show you, she wasn't that impressed by it.
I don't like it at all. No.
150 million and counting views of that video. Now, Kylie Jenner, as most people will know, is a self-made billionaire. She's still very young. I think she's still in her sort of early 20s or something like that. And she's part of the Kardashian-Jenner kind of big dynasty in the US. As you said, they're known for kind of like the aesthetics of being kind of like the best and the brightest and all the various surgery work that they may have had, and social media and reality TV, etc., etc. And I actually think it's quite nice and refreshing. Her own industry, her own brand is very much based on makeup. That's the Kylie brand. It's sort of lipsticks and things like that. So obviously her look and her face is very big to her brand. And I like the fact that she's shown this kind of like ugly, let's say, older kind of version of herself, and can sort of poke a bit of fun at herself. I think it's a quite nice way of connecting with her fans and supporters and the people who sort of buy into her brand as well. Can't say I'll be getting the app. I think I'll just age, continue aging disgracefully. I don't need an app to tell me about the lines and all the rest of it. And I don't have the billions of dollars to to get it fixed, which, a lot of people who'd commented on her TikTok had said, you're going to get work done anyway to fix that. So even if this is how you're going to age, don't worry about it, love. Because, look at her mother, Kris Jenner. She must be in her late 60s or something like that. And she looks like she's about 30 because there's a lot of work that's gone into that. But, yeah.
I can keep myself old school and just look at photos from 20 years ago when I was at uni. Now I just see that aging process as that battered and weathered look anyway. But I love it. It's her most popular TikTok, I think, ever.
Which is amazing.
So next on what it's like to go viral. This is another story where someone who's popular goes even bigger and gets even more viral, if that's possible. This story I found from Rachel Richardson, who writes a great email, weekly email called Highly Flammable Substack, really worth signing up for. A TikTok star you may not have heard of called Mads Argy, who posts these kind of little self-reflective videos, short videos on just a range of topics. She did one asking, what do DJs actually do?
What the fuck do DJs actually do? Because I don't think they're remixing the song on the spot. I think they make it ahead of time. So what dials are they pressing? What are the buttons doing? Is it a volume dial? Is it even connected to anything?
So what the fuck do DJs actually do? That initial kind of question, if you like, was seen by 34 million people, have 4.4 million likes on TikTok. And the question was answered by some DJs who brilliantly then remixed it. And this is two DJs who go by, I think, Glass Petals. And this is what they came up with in response.
What the fuck do DJs actually do?
So that TikTok alone got 70 million views, and it's kind of pretty addictive. But again, what I dove is this DJ's Glass Petals did it funny, then took it to another level and played it at a set in a club. Let's have a little listen.
What the fuck do DJs actually do?
And another set of DJs, this time Loud Luxury, made their own version and posted their video of their performance in the club. This got 20 million views. Have a little listen to this one.
Is it a volume dial? Is it even connected to anything? What the fuck do DJs actually do? What the fuck do DJs actually do?
So there you go. If you're going to ask a question on social media, then expect or anticipate that you might actually get an answer. And I don't know if she's particularly happy about this, poor Mads, but she's obviously exposed herself to probably quite a few more followers, a little bit of ridicule as well, and not done the DJ industry that much or any harm as well. And I think it's pretty good, those remixes. It's really pretty good. Kind of got me thinking, right, I'm ready in my 40s for a club again. So maybe not. Okay, and finally on the podcast this week, we have our timeline cleanser, and we're staying with the music theme as well, and taking both of us, you and me, Tim, back to the 90s, our heyday, if you like. Don't know if it was your heyday, it's probably mine. Anyway, it's this is like a 90s Europop parody. So a comedian has created a parody, a sort of a tribute to 90s Europop dance music. And it's called Planet of the Bass. And you can't really say much more. We've just got to show the video.
Put your hands up in the air.
All of the dream.
Come on, come on.
How does it mean when the rhythm is fly? There is nothing to be sad.
That's right.
Danger and dance.
Come on.
Clapping behind.
What I love about that is it sounds like every single little 90s Euro dance song ever. What I love about this is that, again, on TikTok, it did pretty well, got a few million views, but then someone then posted it on Twitter. I think actually it may have been Carl himself, and it's got over 100 million views on Twitter. And it's being, as you said, released as a song now, and it's taking on a whole different level of things. What I love is Carl then posted a few days later, worryingly saying, "Dear God, I've created the next Milli Vanilli," which probably doesn't mean much to many people on TikTok, but I love it. I think it's just really clever and a great way to kind of for him to enjoy more success with his own comedy creation.
Exactly, a bit of nostalgia, lovely for all of us, and I will be out there buying the single. If you do you even still do that anymore? Do we just buy it on Spotify? You don't go buy the cassette anymore, do you? That was back in the 90s. Back to the 90s. Forget that.
Moving swiftly on anyway, showing our age. That was it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to share any of the highlights, we'll be posting them up on social media. Just find us on all the main platforms by searching for Sorry You Went Viral, and we'll be back next week. See you then. Bye.
Bye.